You made me do this, Edward!
Sheila, you made women anything but the Limeades! Wait, before the video begins. Only 20% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so if you're part of the 80%, subscribe. Or else. Enjoy the video! So today we are reading Wendy's fanfics. Wendy's is verified on Wattpad. They have 6 fanfics.
They sound like normal stories. Somehow, one of their Wendy's products is the main...
Alright, guys, what are we gonna read first? We have
the Lemonade Charade, Love, Limeade, and Deception, the Forbidden Fruit Tea, the Final Straw, parentheses, Berry Lemonade, the Island of Truth, Project SIP, SIP, and the Thirst.
I'm a big fan of the Thirst.
The Thirst is very interesting. I'm also kind of partial to the Island of Truth, Project SIP.
I know, that sounds like it has some deep lore.
Chapter 1.
Here we go.
Parched for love. These tears do me good. They have watered the parched place. Left it a little salty because tears are salty. Unknown.
That was a quote.
It was a Wednesday. In other words, it was like any other day. George was drinking coffee and talking to Suzanne, but Suzanne wasn't listening because people rarely listen to George.
Fuck George.
He talks about fishing a lot, and no one besides George is into fishing.
Imagine George is the kind of guy that takes a...
Hey, baby girl.
Judy from HR walked into our area, and I'd never seen George move so fast back to his cubicle. She walked toward me and stared at the empty cubicle next to me. It's where Jeff used to sit. Jeff and I were a thing.
Ooh.
Judy had a rag in her hand, and she started wiping down the cubicle desk.
Everyone, there's a new employee starting tomorrow, and I'd like you all to give him a big DT corporate welcome.
Chapter 2. A taste for life. I sat down at my desk, turned on my computer, and anxiously waited for the new someone to enter my life.
Hello.
I stood up in my cubicle. There was a man sitting at the previously empty desk. He had pale skin and long black hair that was slicked back. He was wearing a black shirt, black jeans, and sunglasses. Finally, I mustered a soft, "Hello!"
My name is Drax.
Oh, I'm Sydney. Nice to meet you.
His pale skin seemed to glow under the fluorescent office lights. He extended his hand and I shook it. He was drinking a bright red drink from a Wendy's cup, and it seemed to savor every sip.
Why is that sexual? Why is it sexual? It's a Wendy's drink.
What? Wendy's worker wrote this!
This is the same person that roasted everyone through their Twitter. They're like, I have to channel my energy elsewhere.
Drax and I didn't speak the rest of the day, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. His pasty white skin.
Say the sentence. Say the sentence.
Come on, Jared.
I thought about his eyes. He probably has beautiful eyes.
Probably.
His orb.
I was packing up to leave for the day. Drax stood up from his cubicle with his bright red drink in the Wendy's cup.
Will I see you tomorrow?
Yes.
Then tomorrow we will talk more.
That night, I dreamed of Drax, or at least I think I did. He stood at the foot of my bed, drinking the same drink from the Wendy's cup. His skin was glowing. Is he a vampire?
The red drink is
Is this a
obviously
Twilight
blood.
fanfic?
Bella, where the hell have you been, Loca?
He told me he had lived for hundreds of years, but he had never met someone as interesting as me. He put his drink down and reached up to take off his sunglasses. And then I woke up. I was at work early the next morning, and there was Drax with his Wendy's drink.
Tell me about yourself.
I told him I had worked at DT Corporate for a few years, that I had recently broken up with someone. He told me that he loved to travel, and he had been doing it forever. Our conversation was going great until he abruptly decided he needed to leave.
I have to go.
And then he left. 30 minutes later, he came back with a full Wendy's drink. There was clearly a barrier between us, the Wendy's drink. Chapter 3. The Quenching.
I soon go kindle fire with snow. I seek to quench fire of love with a fruity drink.
The next morning, I decided it was time to take the next step with Drax. We were making casual conversation over our cubicles. He was clenching his Wendy's drink with both hands. I put my hands on top of his. They were as cold as ever.
I'm ready.
For what?
to join you and quench my thirst.
He offered me his drink and I took a sip. It tasted of strawberry and watermelon.
So when does it happen?
What?
When do I turn? When do you and I spend the rest of our lives together? Forever.
I took another drink from his Wendy's cup. I stared at him for several minutes and felt nothing.
What am I doing wrong?
I feel like you and I are not on the same page.
You're a vampire, and the drink gives you your power. You dress it up with the Wendy's cup, but I know what it really is.
You're starting to sound like Gru.
Oh no!
Laurels.
Why do you think I'm a vampire?
Well, for one, your name is Drax. Seriously, who has a name like that unless they're a vampire?
It was my great-great-grandfather's name.
Mark, you got us in a fucking car wreck and now I can't move it.
I will break out in a rash if I'm exposed to too much, so I avoid the sun at all costs.
What about your sunglasses? You wear those inside all the time.
My eyes are very sensitive to any kind of light.
What about the drink?
It's Wendy's strawberry watermelon fruit tea.
You're right, Drax. This strawberry watermelon fruit tea is sweet, but not too sweet. And that is the end of that story.
Chapter 1. Limeade colored glasses.
Just walk away. Go home. You don't want to see what's behind that door.
Sheila whispered to herself as she tiptoed down the hall. Edward had been acting strange for days. He started acting distant after the day he so kindly brought her favorite drink, Wendy's Limeade, to work. Now, for reasons she couldn't explain, she felt the emotional gap between them widening. Sheila, well, she was no ordinary woman. She knew what she wanted and had no problem fighting for it. And the love she and Edward shared, she'd fight for that until her dying breath.
Hey, Bella.
Hey, keep it in your pants, guys. She felt a craving for Wendy's Limeade creeping in, but even that sweet, sweet nectar couldn't cure the burning pain and uncertainty in her heart. She knew Edward was a dashing man. Women pined after him wherever he went. Sheila had always believed his heart was true. As she approached the door, Sheila heard his laugh. But this time the laugh wasn't for her. She heard a woman's voice. No, it couldn't be. Not after everything they'd shared. The heartache, the joy, the icy cold Wendy's beverages. Sheila heard a slurping noise accompanied by more laughter. Sheila felt sick. After all this time, he was throwing away everything they had built together.
You need to know the truth. You can't keep living behind these limeade colored glasses.
She finally mustered the courage.
Sorry, I'm really emotional.
And opened the door. Chapter 2. Was the juice worth the squeeze?
I knew it, Edward!
As she burst into the room, she wasn't prepared for what she saw next. There he was, sitting at his kitchen table with another woman. Both had a Wendy's Limeade in hand.
Edward, how could you? I thought you may be having an affair, but this is worse than I could have ever imagined.
Sheila, what are you doing here?
You know exactly what I'm doing here, Edward!
You're a
Why is she
trucker.
country?
You messing with my truck. Tears began streaming down her face. Edward looked over to the woman sitting beside him.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, you're sorry to her?
Who is this Edward?
Who am I?
Sheila took another step toward the woman, who leaned back in her chair in fear.
Who are you?
Sheila, seriously, I don't know what's going on here.
I gave you everything, Edward, and this is how you repay me? I just don't understand how you could be drinking a limeade with someone else.
Sheila, is this about Thursday, about the Wendy's Limeade I got you?
No!
I'm so confused right now, Edward.
Sheila looked at her and swiftly snatched the limeade out of the other woman's hand.
This should be mine!
Edward banged his fist on the kitchen table.
I bought you a lemonade last week to be nice. I don't know what kind of story you concocted in your head, but there's nothing between us.
How dare you deny our love just to impress your mistress?
It's just a joke. I literally never seen you outside the office. You're married. You have a photo of your kids on your desk.
Down. Chapter 3. When love turns sour. Sheila reached out and stroked Edward's face.
I don't know if I can ever forgive you, but I'm willing to spend the rest of my life trying.
Edward tried to back away, but Sheila inched closer.
Shh! Your eyes say it all.
Sheila felt like she was stuck in some nightmare, and then the rage set in.
Well, if I can't have you, then you don't deserve these!
Sheila swiped the limeade out of his hand and ran to the sink with both beverages.
This is what you've driven me to, Edward, and I will stop at nothing until you hurt like I do.
Sheila, please, I'm begging you. Not the Wendy's limeade.
This is what we just heard. Sheila, please, I'm you. Not the limeades. You made me do this, Edward.
Sheila, you made women anything but the limeades!
Every last drop of the beautiful elixir was washed down the drain. Edward crumpled to his knees, raising his palms toward the sky, sobbing.
Can't we just go to Wendy's and get more limeade? It's like 10 minutes away!
Why do you sound like an old woman?
Janine's attempts to console the poor, thirsty man were futile. Sheila tossed the empty cups at Edward's limp body. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out a glistening Wendy's limeade.
This is why I always travel with a spare.
The comments pop off, Sheila!
So Margot, how's your day?
I
Keep
woke
going,
up
John.
at 2 p.m. and my mom yelled at me for waking up at 2 p.m. and then I proceeded to go back to sleep.
You know what? I'll fucking expose myself right now.
Their
TikTok
TikToks.
chain of which animated characters, specifically the animals, I find attractive. Tell me that the Easter Bunny from Rise of the Guardians isn't fine. You can't.
People were judging me for saying that Jeremy from Phineas and Ferb would be hot if he was real. It's not like people saying that the fox from Zootopia could rail them, like some people do.
I don't know what you're talking about. You know what? I'll name the ones that I put on there. I put Nick Wilde, Diego from Ice Age, Puss in Boots, Simba.
One of my friends said Kowalski from Penguins of Madagascar.
That's different. That is a whole ass penguin.
What do you mean? Whoa, 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 whoa.
Every animal on that list of mine is big enough.
Bella, finish your sentence.
I don't want to. I sense that I have made a mistake.
No, why
ahead.
you started?
I don't want to finish that sentence.
Go ahead, Bella.
Fine, they're all big enough to fuck me, so the penguin.
Penguin won't work.
I'm not telling you how much I want to fuck animal.
Listen, I didn't say I want to fuck them. I'm just justifying why. No, I didn't say I wanted to fuck them. I said they were big enough to fuck me.
That's a requirement.
No, I never said I wanted it. I was just saying hypothetically, if it did happen, they would be big enough to do it. It's just a scientific.
It's a prerequisite.
No, it's not.
I'm gonna
Listen,
grab my weed.
I'm not saying I would let Simba smash. I'm just saying that hypothetically, I would just like to say I'm publicly announcing I am not a furry and I will never be a furry. I do not like bestiality. I don't want bestiality.
Bella's just a furry, and that's it.
I think move on.
You know what? I'm a furry with a fat ass.
Oh, this chapter's
Bella, I could read your lips.
I hate all of you! This was made from the flesh of your grandmother. Chapter 1. The covert government initiative known as Project SIP's silent interrogation procedures was on its last leg and extreme measures to be taken to keep the operation afloat. Their interrogation procedures were beginning to become obsolete and to ensure the safe retrieval of information as well as maintain good standing with other nations, they needed to develop new tactics. SIP intelligence has heard rumblings of the development of a truth serum by a curandero hit on the island of Santiago known as the Luth.
You'd think the world wouldn't have use for these techniques.
Agent Rex grumbled to herself as her boat approached the shores of Santiago under the shadow of nightfall. After years working as a SIP operative, she had seen many previous techniques be barred as torture, so this process was nothing new. But retirement was on the horizon, and a tropical mission only taunted her. The mission was simple: retrieve any information about the serum and detain Luth. She set off far into the rock and ash to find the target. This seemed like a fool's errand, but the thought of gaining an elixir that would offer her a way out of SIP gave her the strength to press on. Chapter 2. The wildlife of the region was strange. First seals sprawled their gelatinous bodies across the peppered sand like barking driftwood. Colorful iguanas scurried across molten rock.
Pigtails, do you read me?
The grizzled voice of Captain Davis blared in her ear. Agent Rex just couldn't shake that nickname from the academy, and it always made her blood boil.
Our subtly intel would lead us to believe that the Luth's laboratory is located within Kinnear Cove. My thermal readings detect there is some strange activity going on in that area.
Got it, Captain.
The cove was hidden, but the squawk of seagulls echoed like the thunder off the volcanic rock. She donned her wetsuit and thermal goggles and began to carefully wade into the waters of the surrounding rock front. And with a slight click, The rock face slid aside with a rush of water as she entered. Within 3 steps, she felt a soft brush against her right leg, and the water seemed to get cooler. Coolness quickly shifted to an immense heat. She looked down to see that the door was being protected by a school of what appeared to be lion-maned jellyfish. The swirl of jellyfish began to swallow her as she slowly sank into a pit of pain and confusion. Chapter 3. Ava awoke seated in chains to the sight of a masked creature.
Where am I?
I knew you would come.
Look.
The one and only Emilio. Give us something to drink.
I have to do an accent for this. I'm going back to the country. Penguin waddled into the room with a canteen clenched between its flippers. The focus of this animal was admirable as it lifted the drink to the captured agent's dry lips. Reluctantly, she drank the liquid.
What the hell is that?
Exactly what you came for.
The truth serum?
Seems as though it's already taken effect. That truth serum you speak of is honest. Trademark tropical green tea. Now it's time for me to ask the questions.
A look of terror washed over the agent's face as she realized what she ingested.
Do you know why they sent you?
The creature grabbed the beak of the leather turtle mask and lifted it to reveal a face so similar, it was like seeing her own reflection.
What kind of magic potion did you give me? You look just like me.
The truth is, I am you. I was once an elite SIP operative, but I was openly against the earlier techniques. And now you're sent out here to detain me with the promise of that my honest tropical green tea will be used for good.
Then for what?
For nothing. They want to eliminate me, my work. I left the agency and they used my DNA to replicate a replacement.
That can't be true. I'm me.
Ava bald? Oh, like...
You cry.
They spelled bald like crying bald, like bald is life. Ava bald as she questioned her identity.
Emilio.
Patter of his little feet rhythmically slapped the floor as he approached with the canteen. The Luth lifted it to her lips and began to drink its contents. She wiped her mouth and let out a sound of refreshment like this is some sort of drink commercial. The sound went on for almost a minute.
Is it really true?
The Luth paused, and a smile began to stretch across her face.
Yes.
The end.
Should we all go to Wendy's now?
You should drop some off at each of our houses.
Oh my god.
DoorDash.